Be gone. All right. All right, everyone. Welcome back to VTSR. How you doing, Mike?
Doing good, JP. Hey, are we doing that again?
No, no, it's gone. It's gone.
I thought we were getting ready to jam again. I'm sorry. How you doing,
So
JP?
I'm doing good, man. So we did some testing with our guest Jon Archambault, and apparently Canada is having some difficulties connecting to the
Censorship.
internet. Censorship in Canada. I just I just want to make sure everybody knows that. So yeah, and he's having difficulties connecting. Of course, our other Canadian co-host Nate also having difficulties connecting. So yeah, so apparently this is a theme now, and as soon as one of them can join, we'll get him to join. But oh, there we go. There is John. And what's going on, John?
That connection. Uh,
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
uh,
Yeah, so we are
you tell me.
like we were telling everyone we're here, and then by the way, we're live now, John, because you were trying to connect, so we had to get started. And anyways, our other Canadian friend also having connection issues. Apparently, tech is not the forte of the Canadians. I don't know. I don't gonna confirm or deny that. But 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 hey, Mike. Before we get started with our guests, so what you been up to, brother?
Well, I just come off the main portion of my contract season. So those that don't know, I consider myself half retired. So I retired from the military several years ago, 2017, but I still contract supporting government training. But that's now dwindled down to about 6 months out of the year. So I came off my fall contract season and got a couple weeks off before I took a one-off another gig in Germany, but mainly to see my kid. It's like a free trip to Germany, but see my kid. He's on deployment. Um, but other than that, I mean, it's coming to my off season until the spring. I mean, it's for the Zulu Ops Tactical Solutions. It's time for R&D season, so research and development. Got a couple things in the mix that we're going to put together and try to bring out next year. So I mean, it's doing pretty good.
That's
How,
good, man.
how about you, JP? What have you been up to?
Not a goddamn thing, the bro.
Well, I mean, you're
After
like retired, retired.
well, no, I'm just really just getting slowly getting started back in the rhythm of doing stuff. It took me a while to recover
Yeah.
from
And,
from the
and by the
hospital.
way, we're all super happy you're still here.
I appreciate it,
So,
man. I
yeah.
appreciate it. But yeah, but other than that, just slowly getting started with getting stuff done. But other than that, man, chilling and drinking some coffee.
All right. I know all the ladies out there really want to know you're still with the same beautiful young lady, right?
Yep, that's it.
So
Sorry.
you
Well,
are
I'm not
off the
even sorry.
market. No more Q&A Wednesdays about women other than if you want Hillary, Michelle, or somebody else.
I mean, why people always add that one into the question and answer Wednesdays? The
I
funny
would
thing is that
ruin Hillary. I'd just ruin her. If I had the
is
opportunity, I would ruin her.
they're like, who would you rather do, Hillary or
Yeah.
Biden? And I'm like, what? It's like, how do you even come up with that?
Yeah, but hey, it
But
is what it
no,
is.
yeah, no, still dating the same beautiful woman. She's
Good deal.
freaking keeping me straight, so I
Hey, we're,
appreciate
we're,
that.
we're all proud of you, JP. I mean, really. I mean, it's years and years in the making, and someone finally got a hold of you and kept you down.
Yeah, but yeah, and we have. Oh, hold on. I guess we got a guest coming in as well.
Is that who I think it
Calico,
is?
Calico.
Live shirtless?
Yep.
No, I called that one.
But I mean, if she can join in, apparently a lot of people are having problems connecting. But anyways, yeah, no, man. So that's basically it, man. Just chilling, just trying to get things going. I'm getting ready for. I gotta administer a oath of enlistment tomorrow, so I had to memorize the.
No.
I had to memorize the oath.
Just take note cards with you, man.
Oh,
Don't
bro,
screw that up.
no. So trust me. Not only I memorize it, but I know I got TBI, bro. So I ain't even gonna try it.
Yeah, you
I
just bring those
made
note cards.
index cards, right? And I go like, all right, I'm gonna take my index card with me,
Hey,
and I go,
you can have the Joe Biden teleprompter. So I mean,
yeah. Yeah, man. But yeah, well, let's get started with some with a few of the guests because John is still having problems connecting. So we definitely, if we cannot
right.
get him on tonight, we're definitely going to schedule another podcast with him because he got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about.
Yeah,
He
I'm definitely interested in hearing it. I mean, I read the little bio he put together, so I'm definitely interested in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I know we're missing our other co-host Nate. So I mean, he definitely brings a whole new other dynamic, or that brings the dynamic of the trio of us together. So it's kind of
yep.
not the same.
So let's get started with the one guest that just joined. What's going on there, Calico?
Am I the only one that got this to work?
Apparently, yes.
That's really scary.
You have to have an American flag in the background for this stuff to work.
That's what's up. Nailed it.
Hey, Calico. So, since you jumped in, let me ask you, how excited are you about walking another 222 miles?
It's difficult to find the words. Look, the walking
Up
part's
here,
not-
I'm happy. My feet, not so much.
Like you say that, and my feet are like, I actually just stepped on a nail like a couple of days ago, so like my heels all screwed up. No, my feet not stoked, but it was so much fun hanging with everybody, and like me and Joey have been tight ever since, so I'm stoked. In a sense, it's a little intimidating. It's a little intimidating to like want to bite it off again because it's like, God, I was really kind of hoping to make that a one and done scenario.
Hey,
That
I
works
think you're
out.
when
You're
when you're
committed.
holding your phone with the right hand, you're covering the microphone.
Is that better?
Just don't hold it
Little
at
bit?
all.
I have my opinions in.
Oh, okay.
Is it not good? I can just take them out too. Hold on, stand by.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
I don't remember where I put my keys.
So, yeah. Where you at? Oh, you move on my screen. I'm like, what? Where did she go? Where did she go? So yeah, and I'll tell you what. There was a lot of people that send me messages going like, "Who is that badass girl that is walking over there? He makes all the other guys look stupid." And I go like, "Trust me, they feel stupid."
Trust me, she let him know.
Oh yeah, every day she let him know I walked 3 more miles than you did.
Oh,
No one has a clue what
I
she's
walked
about.
the most. So my biggest thing was I wanted to start every single day and I wanted to finish every day. So that sometimes ended up with me doubling up. And I was the only one to carry her up too. So
Yeah, you did what out of the 222 miles you did what probably like 218.
yeah, I wasn't very short of it. Yeah, it was
Or
well because I walked that in.
230. Come on.
Yeah, she probably did 230.
I did do a pretty good run on the beach
I
for
don't
2
believe
days
you.
later
That's all I gotta say. I don't believe you.
Hey, you know what? The extra miles, you know where she did it? She did them at the
Fort
end
Bragg.
of the Rock March when they went to Charlie Mike's, and she's
Yeah.
barefooted running around Charlie Mike's over there drinking.
I believe it.
My feet hurt so bad on that. I have my shoes on, they're swollen.
Yeah,
I walked the
It's-
entire
it's-
the last day too. So
When she talks about it, it reminds me of like at the end of like selection or SEER school when your feet are all tore up and you're just like hobbling
Well, it's like
around.
one of those deals, right? So you don't know how freaking jacked up you are until you're done because your body's like, oh shit, okay,
Right.
I'm done. So I went to OCS, didn't pass, but I went to OCS, and as soon as I got cut, I found out I had 2 broken ankles. Like
Yeah.
that. I was like,
Mike,
I'm
can you see her as an officer, like as a lieutenant colonel right now walking around?
No.
savage.
She'd be going around going like this, going, yeah, get that over there, get that over there. Ah.
Yeah, pretty much.
The most motivated colonel, I mean, officer I've ever seen, but
She's like, "Hey, fucker."
Like, yo, you're a bitch. I'm sorry, I'm a gunny. And? And? Yeah, nah, that's probably probably a blessing in disguise.
Let me flex my abs. Do you have abs?
Punch me in the stomach. Punch me. Yeah. No, it's probably a much better deal that didn't work out. The contracting world, super dope for me. I don't like rules.
So now that we got her there, let's go here to the Instagram and let's show everybody some of the badass pictures of Calico.
Oh shit. Is that a thing on here?
There we go.
Look at
So
that. Getting all fancy with this.
all right. So that's her right there for all the people that don't know who she is.
I'm always doing this.
Yep. And then let me see what else we got. There she is, of course, drinking.
Look,
That.
carbs.
And look, what is she doing right there? I mean, I want you to look at that picture and look. She's like, yeah, look at your arm. It's not as big as mine.
No, it's the ab flexing. They're flexing abs.
With my blade. With my blade.
She's like, what's up? What's up? And then here she is again. Here she is again. I'm telling you, Calico, there was a lot of people sending messages saying, well, you know what? She's the one that motivated me to do this next year, not anybody else.
Man, that's not really, other than you telling me to do that. That was the only reason I showed up. Had to represent for the ladies and had to make us look good, right? So, and I had to finish it because your bitch ass punked out, so somebody had to finish it.
Yeah, I mean, that was like the whole disappointment is JP got sick. What the fuck?
Yo, I'm gonna tell you what, like with JP going down, like it was a logistic. Like there was some serious lessons learned during that deal.
Yeah.
I had to explain the concept of beans, bullets, and band-aids. Like it was a lot, man.
Sure.
It could have been a train wreck just because we did lose our leader. But a lot of people really, really, really stepped up to the plate, and it was dope.
No, it showed in everything. I mean, it was unfortunate that JP went down, but yeah, I understand the leader goes down, but sometimes it just shows the caliber of the team when the leader goes down. You know, everybody else excels and steps up and makes it happen. So.
And you know, and that's what is important about that event. It was that everybody that was involved, everybody was involved in the planning as well. So when I was out, everybody knew exactly what needed to happen because there was a plan already in place.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool. And like I'm telling you, you know how many phone calls I received in the hospital from these guys doing the walk and telling me, "Hey man,
Well,
that's
you
a
didn't-
that's a
you up.
You didn't answer my text, so I know
Hey.
you were messed up.
hey that's a good excuse for you to get out of walking."
No,
That was kind of messed. That was kind of funny because
we don't love
JP
you.
put up on Instagram. He was rucking with his kid. He was getting in there. He was like showing he was doing it, and then man down.
I was like, I'm sorry, what?
I was like, that was planned. That was all
Please
planned.
don't die, but this is bullshit. Like, please don't die, but this is total bullshit.
That was like, oh, we got Nate coming in.
Oh my God, Nate, you finally showed up.
His beard finally showed up, bro. That
Hey,
is fucking sexy.
Hey, Calico, don't go anywhere. I'm gonna put you on mute. I'm gonna take the opportunity that Jon is here and his connection is working. That way, he can talk to us a little bit about him. But don't go anywhere. Stay right. Well, there he goes. He's gone again.
Dude, Nate,
Yes.
fucking, you looking sexy as.
Hey, Jon, can you hear us? At least, can you hear us?
I just gotta say that, man. I mean, the beard is looking good, bro.
All right, so Jon can hear us, which is great because the audio is still gonna record for the
I can see
podcast.
Jon now.
So Calico, I'm putting you on mute real quick. Just stay right there. Hey, Jon. Well, welcome to the podcast. Sorry for you're having all those connection issues.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I don't get it, but yeah, it is what it is. Thanks.
Hey, brother. So real quick, give us a 2 minutes rundown. Who is Jon, man?
All right. I'm from in Quebec, French Canada, where my parents hate English. their wide shit. Studied in Brazil. My university was not. I then joined the military. I had no clue what I was. For infantry, and not in English, but through language. They put me for cyber warfare and translation. I ended up waiting on a platoon for 4 years. Got and switch into logistic. The Navy was the only army got, so I got to shine things. And then I was through hyper. So one commander of the ship, he said you should apply to course, which I did. So I'm not an operator. I'm just a supporter. I'm not a hero. Those by all. It was great to work along. Coming back from to police to work. Waited 6 months to. It took 6 police and didn't apply for city across the country. Where I was the country started to be pulled there. Within, I would say, 4 years of serving, with PTSD, major depression, dissociation, and so on. Support it, right? In between us, brothers and sister, we kind of support and help each other. Police is different. I find that the stigma was higher, right? The like you got benched. I started to write about how the would bring my house and how I would change life and so on, because I read a lot of books about specialists doing, and but I never saw like really a that's at home. So I started to write that for self-therapy and so on, and then I shared it to actually publish. I sent it. They were taking too much. I self-published. Wired differently, where I hire veterans, first responder who suffer and their family for design, like with the website creation, sewing stuff. The money that I get from this at the moment, it's going to Ken Praxis, which is equine therapy in Canada. And starting December, the walk profit's going to go to Let's Walk Out. So yeah, as reform, so I'm trying to just break as much as I can. That's just
all right, man. And for the people that that don't know, I'm gonna pull up here because we do our research, and here is the Instagram for Jon, wireddifferently.co. We also gonna put it in the description of the podcast and his website as well. But yeah, he got a lot of apparel there, and I can see when I look at the comments that there's a lot of people that support you and follow you, and that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky on that. And I mean, like meeting you guys. I mean, I heard about Calico. I would say just before the walk, one of my friend named Maria. You were 3 names of her brothers and cousin, I believe. She's the one who actually pushed me to follow Calico and TJ. And I find that fantastic, right? By all means. But yeah, so I believe that as much as different countries, PTS, PTSD, PTSI, we're going to call it pain. So we can make it better, right? And I don't believe that because it's been failing for years. In between us, we can make it so we're getting out winning at least.
Yeah, man. And you see, Calico, you're freaking famous. And so here we got your website as well. And so I got a book that you sent me. I really appreciate it. I'll be honest, I haven't got to reading it yet, but I will. I did browse through it, and there's a lot of information there. And the one thing I noticed is you were not just taking information from anywhere. It was like a lot of that stuff is just your experience and the things that you went through.
Yeah, and I mean, it's all different, right? Right? Like, I served in U.S. as a veteran, and I am. You can. The thing that we're missing here, I find, is right. There's a divide on everything.
Right? There's a divide on everything.
I was hoping to actually teach some people who have no clue about it that, like, we're not certain 8 to 4 type of job, right? So I wanted to push this. I also wanted to push. So there's different type of like, I mean, I wrote poem, I wrote stories, there's stuff that's actually from specialists of it, right? So just to be able, as many people as I can.
Yeah, it's good to put that perspective in. And you're right. Going from Canada to the States, there is a huge difference in patriotism and awareness for veterans, and just culturally, we're more accepted in the States, and people are more apt to thank us for our service. In Canada, people are like, we have an army, we have a military. Well, you're a bad person. Why do we even want to thank you for anything? And it's kind of weird. Like, when I hearing you talk about waiting 4 years to get paid, most people would have just quit and walked away at that point. So already you had some intestinal fortitude to get what you wanted to go and do. And I remember when I went through, John, I'm assuming that you're not the same age as me and you're a bit younger. When I went through in the 90s, late 90s, there was 172 candidates. We graduated a year later after all the training, 28, I believe. And people were pulling the pin because, oh, my kid's failing school this month, or, you know, my wife misses me, or that was back in the 90s. So my partner misses me, you know, whatever, just simple things to give up. And the fact that you took and stuck out 4 years to get to where you're going, really shows your character. So I'm interested to get the copy of the book from JP when he's done reading it in the math room there. And it, because I've been watching some of your stuff, and some of the people that have mentioned your name to me are people I respect. So obviously, where you're coming from, the wording that you use in the book, and how you want to reach, you know, in the francophone, you know, when he says he wants to touch everybody, it's not that way, JP. Okay, it's not touchy feely stuff. It's just
I was getting excited.
I know, right? So he wants to reach out to everybody, and the way he
I
wrote
don't know
the
the
book,
way Nate says it. I'm just,
you know, he wants to touch everybody. Is this chlorophyll or chloroform? Which does it smell like? So with him, what I've heard about his book is that it does have a voice in there for everybody, just not the whole way through. Like every chapter is a little different. He puts a good spin onto it. So John, first off, I want to thank you for doing that, because not enough Canadians are actually speaking about, not speaking out, but speaking about what we do and what we've gone through. And you're right, our chain of command has been absolutely atrocious with how they handle us and deal with that stigma of post-traumatic stress. I know, to kind of bring it to perspective, if you look up the Parker brothers and you look up a couple of the other brothers from 2RCR, just as a case study, it is absolutely disgusting how they were villainized and chased. No, this is my cue that I'm talking too much because he's playing with the cameras.
No,
So-
I'm just showing that we are live streaming on YouTube.
Oh, cool. So yeah, again, John, just fantastic work, and I can't thank you enough for bringing more light to it on the Canadian side. And again, to reiterate, in the States, it is totally different culture for veterans. We are more respected, we more thanked, and more kind of, I don't want to use the word coddled, but better well received than in Canada.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I mean, right off the bat.
Yeah.
Go ahead, John. Sorry.
Mike.
Now, I just want to like add that, just reading up that, you know, your page is called Wired Differently. That honestly speaks to me, you know, as far as trying to explain the difference between veterans and, people that may or may not are interested in, know the difference, but it's really just a matter of being wired differently. It's not a negative connotation, but it's just the way we think about things. So I think it's pretty awesome.
So
thanks, Nate, about
saying this. Like, I mean, about
Canada. There's
Canada.
does not believe in the military.
Right.
Like, truly don't. Never celebrated Veterans
Day or Veteran Day, if you like. My parents still wore
for the day of.
Heart attack,
And I had to drive
from Kingston
to
back
home.
4-hour bus.
Didn't have
The
a
car
car.
at that time, a private. I remember in Montreal,
Spit on, being told in French.
and this guy, but the mentality, which
Different place, right? It's
I
why it's on
for English people first and first.
Okay.
That there's a culture differences I wanted to bring. Now I can't was right in English means and
various
reason Nate why 4 years to get.
I joined the military
not
not
speaking a word of English, right? Probably every guys
teach me
first, but
truly, like, my course was in English
only. So I had to,
and I watched
like, whatever TV show was in English at that time. There's, I mean, it isn't. We're the one who will make the change, right? Like, if exist, still, it is
one thing to say,
pain's going to carry on.
totally agree with this.
But if you're truly suffering
To the point that you
to
want
kill yourself,
to stay much
take the window, right? And personally, that's what broke opening that
I had
called
as a cop
was actually a suicide call, and I would just bark and enter ties. I didn't
Not
realize
that
that
was
what's going on.
means at that point I'm just holding his wrist.
When firefighters show,
One step today.
they start to take care of him and so on. As he was a correctional sergeant, a correctional officer.
He had been in
He has been in enough. I
I talked to his fiance. Fiance said that he reached for help with the
VA and was denied.
So we need something better for
Those
those
things do not happen. And
to not
my
happen.
police, my disregard. He's just another civilian, and I'm like, he's not. He's a veteran. He's like, we don't care. So they didn't give a flying fuck about it, which was
that person served our country.
made
But-
right.
Like,
He's one of the reason for it. But yeah, that's the
So to touch on that, like, because it's so frustrating to see that spectrum of it where a guy is suffering, and I use the term guy in general, it's not a sex term, it's just a specific generic vernacular. I worked the last year at my friend's supplement shop there, helping them out, and they had a military and first responder discount. So if you had your military ID card or vet, like whatever ID card you had as a police officer, firefighter, nurse, you get a discount of 10%. Okay. Most people would come in, they wouldn't even ask for it. I'd see the card in their wallet and I'd be like, hey, are you in the military? Are you a police officer? Whatever. And they're like, yeah. And then they give me the card and yeah, okay, perfect. Here's 10% off for your purchase. Thanks for your service or whatever. So most people don't ask for that stuff and they won't ask for help either. Then I had this, and I can say this because I don't work there anymore, this asshat come in and decide that every 6 months the computer pops up and says verify ID. And I go, oh, hey, it says that you're a first responder. Do you have your ID card on you? I'll just verify and put it back in the computer. Well, no, I don't have it. It's in the truck. I'm like, okay, no problem. But if you can grab it, I can just throw this on here. No problem for you. Save you 10%. You know, and in front of his wife and his 5-year-old child, he starts to tell me that I am triggering him and he's offended that I'm asking for him to prove this because everybody knows him. And I'm like, I'm the only fucker in the store here. What are you talking about? Everybody knows you. I've been here a year. I've never seen you before. And his wife is like, we come in all the time. And I'm like, I'm here every Sunday. I've never seen you before. I just need to see it. Like, it's not a big deal. Are you a police officer? Are you a firefighter? Are you military? His wife goes, he's all of those things. I'm like, cool. You're a super trooper. I just need one of those fucking IDs. I just need one.
Need one. Just need one, bro.
And this skinny-armed, pot-belly, ignorant twit keeps going on about how I'm offending him. I'm offending him. He's triggered. He's offended. And I'm like, okay, bro, take a breath. I reach for my wallet. I pull out my veteran card and I go, I have served. I'm on your side. I want to give you your 10%. Okay. I want to save you some money and get you out the door. Loses his shit. And he's yelling. So finally he just takes and storms out. The wife is no longer calm, drives the stroller with the child into a stack of protein, knocks it to the floor. They go out the door. They get in their vehicle for 1 hour. They call all the other stores that were in the same chain, tried to talk to a manager, wrote this super long email about how of a power trip the big bearded mean guy is on.
You're an asshole.
I'm horrible. He's a corrections officer, didn't want to show me his ID as a corrections officer. I said, listen, sir, we honor corrections officers too because they're important to us and we'll give it to you. Well, no, we're first responders too. All right. If my house is on fire, I'm not calling you. If I'm being robbed, I'm not calling you. If I'm going to war with another nation, I'm not calling you. If I have a prisoner who has gone through the courts, the police, and all them, and they've been sentenced to jail, I'm calling you. But I'm not taking away from corrections officers. They're fucking important, okay? But this pot-bellied, skinny-yard prick, take that intensity and put it towards fighting for PTSD rights and shit instead of a 10% discount, okay? Take that energy and intensity and put it somewhere up your ass that will energize you to make the world a better place. That's what I have to say. So when I hear Jon's story about a guy who's suffering in silence and to literally cut open your thighs and your wrists, you are struggling and you've given up on everything, right? So why not, if you truly want to be like Jon is doing and like the rest of us are trying to do, take that energy that you want your 10% discount at IHOP or at fucking Bunny Stripper Club or at whatever supplement shop and put that energy into something that matters. Like, I don't know, hosting a charity event, taking part in a charity event, going for long walks. How about this? Actually pick up the fucking phone and call one of your buddies that you haven't spoke to in a little bit and say, hey, bro, I know you still owe me $20 and I made a joke about you being shorter than me, but I still love you because you're a fucking idiot. Are you okay? I don't know.
Me again, Nate.
No, you're too tall for that joke.
All right.
So-
Yes.
But that's where it goes. So listening to Jon say that, and I know he's kind of jumped to the side here on this with the signal, but in all honesty, that just urges a guy to say that I'm being mean and I'm on a power trip, bro. You don't even know the fuck I am. And that's what echoes from Jon's story is you don't know whose house you're going into. And I've dealt with so many police where they're like, oh, it's a welfare check. That is the biggest fucking scam going, because you're not calling to check on my welfare. You're calling because you're coming to my door because my ex-wife decided that I'm a dick or you wanted it, just whatever. But when you do go through that door and these police officers have to do it, they don't know your background. And that's what's fucked up. So poor Jon's sitting there seeing all this shit and it's hitting home and it sparked something in him, which is fantastic because other people would have shut down and carried that burden. And to hear Jon pick that torch up, that's what Canadians do. We burned down your White House twice because we like to carry torches. Okay? So he carried that torch. Now he's got a whole network of people that is fantastic. And yes, I had a little bit of caffeine and sugar before the show. So now I'm going to put myself on mute and I'm going to enjoy the rest of the conversation.
Bro, I was gonna say, did you take pre-workout? like,
I
like
was,
you,
I was about ready to go to get a workout in while he was talking. I mean, wow.
but no, we understand everything you're saying, Nate.
Yeah.
I mean, and when you were talking about the 10%, I want my 10%. I saw a post on Veterans Day, coming up on Veterans Day, and I saw a post that somebody put is like, check out all the people that were in the army, bitch about the army, complain about the army, said they hated the fucking place, they couldn't wait until they got out. They get out, they talk shit about the army, but 2 days prior to Veterans Day, they're posting all the pictures in uniform and going for the discount.
I don't even ask for my. I didn't serve to get a 10% discount. I mean, that just.
You know what, Mike? There's a lot of people that do that, and they do it everywhere they go. They go like, "Do you have military
I will
discount?"
caveat when I go to Home Depot or Lowe's and I got like a $200 plus freaking cart of lumber, I'm gonna get my 10% discount. God damn it!
But you see, they even going to ask you though. Normally, Lowe's will ask you, "Are you military?"
Unfortunately, I look military or former military, so I mean, I get asked a lot.
JP, the only reason they ask you that is because they don't know if they're calling ICE or if you're allowed to be there.
Well, you know what? No, actually, the reason they ask me that is they're like, I'm allowed to. They normally go, you're allowed to be here, but standing outside waiting for work, not inside, bro. It's like, you got the information wrong. You're supposed to be outside, Pedro. But hey, talking about all this stuff,
by the way.
Talking about all this stuff, I would like to ask Miss Calico over there about, and the reason I'm asking you is because I know, yes, and you're going to tell me, JP, I didn't serve in the military. I don't deserve this. But you are always around military and first responders. That's your niche. That's the people that you like to help. That's the people that you like to associate with. And you see a lot of people dealing with PTS and people, trying to take their lives and all that stuff. I mean, if you want to share something, what is your experience with that, or anything that you want to tell people about? Hey, don't fucking do it.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So I moved back here with my stepdad. He's been a cop for 39 years. He went through Columbine shooting. He went through the Aurora Theater shooting. He's been through the nation's biggest shootings. He's a bad mamma jamma, dude. So I see the first responder portion of it. My dad was a firefighter as well. He was a volunteer, but it was out in rural country. So, I mean, that's how I got like my twisted mind. I literally watched my dad scooping up body parts off the highway. I was like, cool, sweet. So that's probably why I got twisted. But yeah, all my friends are military as well. I've got a weird standpoint, I guess I would say, on suicide and mental toughness, because I study the World War II generation, like, ominously. I always talk about my Uncle Ralph. He just passed away this last Valentine's Day. He was World War II, Korea, and Vietnam, 2-time Purple Heart, amputee, just an incredible human being. And watching him walk through life and never bitching about anything, like, I see so many people and I'm like, yo, I understand life is rough, but fucking grab those nuts between your legs and let's go. Like, I have empathy. I don't have sympathy. And I get, my biggest thing is, like, I'm humbled. JP, I've told you this probably 80,000 times. I am so humbled that you guys adopt me into your family. I don't know why you SF dudes, these Rangers, these SEALs are like, your family. I'm like, why? Like, I don't know. It's the most humbling thing in the world. But hearing these stories, man, it's heartbreaking. Y'all went through some shit. I remember that first time you posted your when you got in that vehicle wreck, right? That first time you posted, I was like, dude, I wasn't ready for what the like. It was like, well, I actually talked to a medic, 8-year Army medic on Sunday. She lives 21 minutes from my house. She's a bad chick. She's awesome. I'm gonna see if I can make her come out for some portion of the walk or something. But she immediately like broke down to me, and she was like, dude, so man, we were on a Kaz back in our Humvees. I was the third Humvee down. I was reaching over to grab one of the casualties, saw that he was down, saw the tattoo on his back of his head, knew exactly who he was. And she's like, then somebody smacked me, grabbed me off of him because he fell on an IED. She's like, I had to leave my best friend in the field. And I was like, oof, oof. And you could just tell it hurt. And I was like, all right, so let's talk about it. Do you want to talk about it? No. But it's a matter of like, I watch her, my stepdad, and I watch a lot of people work through it. And it's a matter of not becoming your trauma and accepting the fact that like your life will never be the same. Ever. When my brother died, it was like, okay, life is never going to be the same. But it's a matter of making the decision as if you're going to become that or if you're going to move past it. And that's why I love the World War II generation. I think they had more opportunities to come back here that y'all didn't have. Your generation didn't have the opportunities that World War II veterans had. They were fresh off of the freaking Great Depression. America was rebuilding. America was in its freaking prime, right? So I think they had more opportunities and more abilities to leave that shit in the trenches, literally, or on the islands, and come back and start life. But I think I just finished The Rifle by Andy Beto. He's a USC, gross. USMC, let's try that again, veteran. He was in Ramadi and Fallujah, I believe. So he saw some shit, but he's now going around with the M1 Grand and having these veterans sign it and tell their story. But within these pages this is what they did to move past it. This is what they did to work with their amputee or amputation. And it's a matter of perseverance. And I think that we're almost enabling a lot of people because I think suicide's trendy right now. And it's fucking sick. Like, I hate to say that, but I think it's trending right now. And the people that truly are very in that place, they don't talk about it. My brother is gone. They don't talk about it. They don't. Gone. And I think that the people that do complain about that shit, they're looking for that ego, that pat on the back, like, yeah, PD me. And I'm like, nah, come to work. Let's go to work. Let's go walk 222 miles. Let's go. I'm about to start working with a horse training facility that works with veterans. I'm also about to start working with a dog training facility that works with veterans. Like, there's options because it is trending. There's options literally everywhere. If you want to make a change, I will walk you through the fire. If you don't, whatever, you're a punk.
That statement right there is so powerful. If you want it, it will happen for you, and you will find a way. In Canada, we have a saying: is there's always a way. We will find a way. We will make a way. If there's no door, we'll breach a window. We'll make a window. We'll make a door.
Yep.
And that's our energy, right, John? Is that we will find a way. And that's what's going to happen. And that's what's kept me alive. And that's what's kept John alive, is that we have it ingrained into us that we will find a way. That little bit of hope. The leadership always tries to step on it or spin on it or whatever, but we will always find a way. And that's what's important about this is, yeah, suicide is trending. Excuse me. But it's not the cool thing to do. Finding a way and choosing to live, choosing to do better and be better, choosing to suck less at life and just fucking do what you want to do and achieve that. So hearing you echo that and knowing that John's book is about that and knowing JP is going to read about that and seeing Mike nod about that, you need to surround yourself with people that believe the same shit. And right now the world is so divided, and they want to be definitively divided more and more and more and more down the road with all these different, I identify with this and this and this, and I'm this and this. Great. Right on. I like to watch Star Trek. I like long walks on the beach, and I like to fucking be alive. Okay, fine. Identify with whatever you want, but find a way. Find those little groups and things that are out there and get going. And that's what JP and I, when we first sat down to pitch this show back years ago over a bottle of whatever mouthwash he had at the time, was to find a way to bring those essences to people. So to hear this season starting off with you and John echoing the exact same thing, this is better than a pre-workout.
You know, Calico, I know you were saying that suicide is trending, and unfortunately, It is.
Yep.
It's a trend, and I think if you look back, I started looking at the other day on TV. They were talking about all the suicide among like teenagers and 10, 11, and 12 years old are committing suicide. I go like, what? Life is not hard for you. All you gotta do is wake up in the morning, eat your breakfast, go to school, come back, do homework, and go to
Yep.
bed. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not
but
that hard. And then and then I started, I started sitting back and I started talking to another friend of mine, and we go like, you know what the difference is from our times, that you didn't even hear suicide. I mean, if you did, it was very rare, like once every
And it
10
was
years.
chastised.
Yeah,
It was
one
like
every 10
like
years some
chastised.
kid died of suicide, but it was because a lot of times it was an accident or whatever, and they call it suicide. But then I started realizing why. It's like when we were kids, you wake up in the morning, you eat your breakfast, you go to school, you come back, you do your homework, your mom goes like, yeah, you're good to go. You go out to the streets and play. And you play until the lights start coming up on the streets, and then you come inside, you take a shower, you go to bed, and then on Saturday, you wake up in the morning, you eat your breakfast, and you can't wait to get outside and go ride your bicycle, skateboard,
You guys
whatever.
had it good. My ass worked.
Well. The point is, you're keeping busy. You are
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
doing stuff all the time,
You weren't
and the
like
only
fixing your phone. You
yeah,
had
and
you had physical activity, and that's where we're lacking. Obviously, go check out my Instagram. It's all about being physically active. The human body has to be. It's these two mountain walls laying right here. If they're not physically and mentally engaged, it's immediate self-destruction. We are no different. We are no different at all.
yeah,
Uh,
and I think that's the problem right now. Go ahead, John.
I just want to point out one thing, okay? So, and I mean, I don't know about the kids, by all means, right? What we're looking at, there's a lot of bullying and shit, and by all means, because that's brought up with the social media or whatever the hell we can look at. Now, if we look at, and okay, it's I don't think it's a disorder. I think PTS is good. I love OSI that we use in Canada. It's been brought up in 2000 by a colonel, which is operational stress injury. It's just given for military and first responder. That's it. That's all, right? PTS can be for an accident or whatnot. So that's number one. I'll see it. But I looked at being hit by a fucking transport truck last summer. I was looking at it, and it's not because I was giving up. I want to make it very clear. A lot of suicide that happen in our field, it's because you don't see the exit. You don't see in that the end of the tunnel a fucking light, right? And that I understand. But the problem that I see with this is, as much as this can be a really shit show, it can be fucking fantastic. I got at the moment 8 friends who all suffer different level, and they're from across the country. Some in the north, some in the west, east side, whatever it is. We all got snow anyways. It's the same shit. But what I want to point out is those people connected, and if they have a shitty day, they can touch base. So there's positive at this. There's a lot of negative by all means, right? But I believe that someone who commits suicide, in our field, it's not because they give up. It's because they cannot see the end. It hurts so bad. And I know when I was looking on the highway on the Trans-Canadian, I was like, okay, a big truck at 110k an hour, which is whatever, 70 miles an hour. Yeah, I need to translate that.
It's actually 55.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, 55 for fuck's sakes. And yeah, but I was looking at it because the pain had been lasting for like 6 hours of fucking roller coaster, right? And I was like, usually it's 2 hours and it hurts like a bitch, but that 6 hours was not ending, and it was 3 times the usual. So I'm putting myself in the short or the shoes or whatever you want to call that of the person who suffer. You need to prove and show them that this is why I say pain is pain. I have not been what you've been through, JP. I have not been what you've been through, Nate, Calico, Mike. It's all different, right? But all we suffer is the fucking same. And we have been used to have a family around us. It doesn't matter what the fuck happened. We don't leave anyone alone, right? And when you leave the military, then the military keeps on going at whatever, 60 mile an hour, 55, right? And you don't have that speed anymore, right? You're stagnant, right? So So you see your friend all going, and then some are being deployed, and some people are getting like, I don't know, promotion, whatever it is. And in your case, you don't. So you feel alone, right? So I think it's extremely important that to keep that form of family. And I don't know for you, but I'm closer to my military friends than my fucking blood family, right? Because I went through shit with them, and going through shit with people, it's suckfest. That suckfest makes the relationship so tight, right? Which I'm sure that 222 miles does that as well. We did this year, it's 47 miles walk in a one day for Canadian Walk for Veterans, and we were 4 guys. It got us really close together, right? Because you suffer, and then you start being so tired that you say stupid things, and we're just 4 guys, so we said a lot of stupid things because that's what guys do, right? But I mean, so I think it's important to just point out as well that it's not you don't give up as a suicide, right? And because of what you've seen, and obviously there's 3 ways to get PTS, right? There's living it, there's having a friend going through it, and there's the third view. You've seen it, right? You've seen from a third perspective, which I've seen and I've heard, and I'm going to just point an example: infantry guys who say, "You will never have PTSD like I have." Well, that's bullshit, right? And I mean, all right, you were infantry and you're in the front line, whatever the fuck it is, maybe. Pain is pain. PTSD is, it's not a dick measurement. It's how do we fix ourselves? How do we get better? Because you're not broken. Like it's the new you. How do you deal with this now? Like you just have to adapt to, okay, well, am I hypervigilant when this and this happen? How do I function with this? Am I hyper aroused for this reason? Why was I drinking until like 6 bottles of wine? Yes, I'm French. I love wine and baguette. But right, like there's a reason why. It's because your brain was saying, fuck this, I'm done. I'm gonna go in the avoidance factor.
Yes.
And forget everything that's going on. And at first you don't realize, because I'm sure it's the same culture, we drink in the military quite well. It's the same shit. Exactly. There you go. Now you just do weed because I mean the government pays it too. Anyways, that's
we're green.
Is that legal in Canada now?
So it is legal, and the government, and I can tell you for me, it's CBD is a prescription with THC. They gave me 900 grams a year.
Okay.
And that's not the full.
John, those are rookie numbers.
Yeah, I don't do a lot.
3 grams a day, buddy.
Hey, well, tell him you need more and send Mike and me some.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
Give you whatever.
I got my own perspective on the medicinal marijuana aspect. So,
well, and you know what? Like, and as a cop, I can tell you that personally, I had a lot of problems to say I'm going to start with weed, right? Yeah. But I tried 15 medication to sleep, antidepressant, and so on. I gained 35 pounds. I still have it. Well, it's winter, so it keeps me warm. But exactly, it costs less on electricity and gas.
Survive the winter.
Yeah. But and the last one I took, and it was probably 3 months ago, they put me onto hypnosis sleeping medication. Mm-hmm. I couldn't wake up. I punched my wife 5 times in my sleep, kicked her, and the thing that stopped. The last thing I did is I grabbed her hair and just pull it back, and she was freaking out because she's like, you couldn't be awakened, right? Yeah. So as much as it's a chemical disbalance that's going on, which is what we have, mental health, mental illness. There's other form too, right? Like there's therapy, but there's equine therapy. There's therapy. There's EMDR, ART. There's whatever the hell. There's one that will work for you, and get that one.
Right? Hey, can I ask all 4 of you a question on that point? So this is a civilian asking you guys. So I was talking to one of my SEAL buddies, and he got blown up in Africa, and his freaking brain looks like Swiss cheese. Dude's screwed up, like bad. Yeah. And he's young. He's like 28. He was with SEAL Team 1. 28 years old. They got him medically retired and stuff. And oh my gosh, don't freak out. Okay, ready? I told him, I was like, you know what? Sometimes I think you guys get too much help from the VA. And he goes, what? And just freaks. I was like, hey, chill. just hear me out, and you guys just listen. I think they give you guys so much drugs, where it's just like so as a civilian, we don't have the money or the resources. Like when I went through my shit, I got a super wicked TBI. I didn't get my brain scan back, but I'm sure I have a Swiss cheese brain too. It would explain a lot of things.
Yeah, that now
but-
we understand.
Hey, Mister, I don't know, it's my TBI.
Focus.
So I
Okay.
told him, I was like, I truly at times I believe you guys receive too much help because their immediate answer is here, shove this pill down your throat, and they're
Well, that's
they're
not too much.
devastating pills.
No, that's not too much help. That's the way they keep you, what you call it, they keep you from not getting better because they're not
Munchausen.
helping
Keep
you.
the
They're
ball
not
on the
helping
string.
you. Do you
Munchausen
remember
syndrome.
Mari, when I first met you, I was 198 pounds.
Mhm.
I was like this, belly out. Of course, I was happy, but I couldn't lose weight to save my. Yes, there you go. I couldn't lose weight. I couldn't lose weight to save my life. And then I realized I was taking at that point I was taking 18 different meds from the VA, and slowly, I started going like, well, let me try stopping this one and see what happens. Oh, okay, I'm still good. Nothing happened. Let me try stopping this one. And then I started realizing that a lot of because I got TBI, so I normally get my dizziness, my headaches, I get anxiety and all that stuff from the PTSD and all that shit. But what I started realizing is my anxiety was not as bad as I thought. It was the reaction from all the medication, the one that was making me shake all the time. Right. So I do get anxiety when I'm in a lot of, in a big crowd of people that I don't know. Because if I know them, I feel, okay, I got you. He got that door. Okay, we're good. But if I don't know them, after a little bit, I start getting anxiety and it's not anxiety. I think it's my brain is hyperactive because I'm looking at everybody's hands, what they got in their pockets, what they got here, who's looking where, But I think that the combination of medications actually did me more harm than any good.
Absolutely.
And it was not until I started stopping them that I started losing weight. I lost like freaking 15 pounds right off the bat.
So this is super interesting because when you take medication, and I compared that with a bunch of friends, you're going to get IBS, right? Which is irritable. I cannot say that properly in English. Bowel movement, whatever.
Bowel
Saying
syndrome.
Canadian.
JP,
Syndromes.
you're not supposed to help. Hush. It's not-
Yeah, say it in Canadian. Go ahead.
Irri-
I'll say it in Puerto Rican. I'll say it in Puerto Rican.
It's
For
sweet meat belly.
upset.
bathroom too many times a day. But you get as well, you can get female erectile dysfunction. You can get drop in testosterone, drop in. Sorry?
I said testosterone.
Yeah. So you have a lot of things come, right? So you're right. Like but that's the way it runs money. And I don't want to bring a political aspect to it, because if you look at whatever we're going through right now in the world, where they're paying, I know in Canada, every shot of vaccine they give is $3,000 per person. Right? So if you have free booster, you're at $9,000 per person. Now it's Canadian fucking currency, so for you guys it's $7,000. But
No politics on the podcast, damn it.
but then if you would have a medication for $3, would they run it? Probably not, because they don't make money out of it, right?
Yeah.
Like
To echo
equine
Jon,
therapy. Yeah, sorry.
to echo you about the numbers of my prescriptions before I switched to just cannabis, and I was weighing 340 pounds and sitting on my couch all
Yeah, you're a
day,
big boy. We all
drooling
know
on
that.
myself, eating fucking chocolate bars and playing Wildlands, was about $6,000 a month. Change that to cannabis. I'm going to the gym more. I'm on CBD, and it's only $1,000 a month of prescription. Somebody's pissed off I did it, but I'm down to 260 pounds. I look sexy when I'm naked. I walk around my house naked a lot, so I don't get company. But it doesn't.
Look at
cost a
Calico's
damn what
face. She's like,
quality
I
of life
don't want to
right?
imagine that.
So
No, I'm
with
like, yeah, same. Yeah.
you walk
But
around my
I
house
read,
naked
so
too?
Nate, Nate, in all seriousness, I guarantee your head is much more clear.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, when I had to take my painkillers, and John, you mentioned this too. Like when you get down in those shit dumps, man, you are in the tunnel of like, okay, cool, fatal funnel. Take me into depression because I'll
Yep.
take the real fatal funnel. You know, like bullets make sense, right? But that freaking like tunnel vision that you get from depression, you're not right, and it's so fucking dark.
I sat on my couch.
But then those drugs, man, it's just like you're numb to everything, which is what we do when we drink. That's why I quit drinking. So I was like, I didn't want to be around. It's not
Hold on. You quit
I didn't want to
drinking?
feel shit. Dude, I fucking acted a fool on 4th of July. Acted a damn fool, and I quit drinking.
You've done that plenty of times, though.
It was weird. It was real weird.
It got weird. Okay, got it.
Yeah, well, and then so this last week when my buddies died, he was a freaking Vietnam SF vet, like savage, right? He freaking got drunk because he was an alcoholic, wrecked a side by side, broke his neck, and Sunday I got into it, and I was just like, but I cried to my stepdad. He goes, "You good?" I was like, "Look, I just needed to cry, and I haven't done it for months." Okay, I was a mess.
Mind your business, I'm good.
I just needed to have emotions, and I don't have them if I don't drink, okay? But in all seriousness, going back to the alcohol and drugs or whatever, but like Nate, I would assume because you're not on those pharmaceutical drugs, like I said, I'm not the biggest advocate for marijuana. I've got a drug dog sleeping right there.
The CBD.
Huge fan of medicinal marijuana if it's used correctly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it can also be just like
That's key.
alcohol.
That's
There's no
key.
damn different.
And that's the thing too, is you got to be very careful with it. And John was going with that is now he's gone from attacking his wife in his sleep to functionality where now it's saving his marriage without him having to go overseas and leave her alone. And the stomach, the issues and the clarity, like John was nailing it right in the head. And I was just trying to echo it before you jumped in and bragged about having emotions and shit.
So
I'm the girl here, okay?
Honestly,
I'm the lady.
I mean, I look at a perspective that this is who we are now. A majority of us, if not all of us, agree that we would do it again in a heartbeat. So it's dealing with this is who we are. How do we handle it now without the pharmaceuticals? Me personally, I try not to do without the cannabis because my personal opinion is, again, just opinion, is that I live in Florida. The fact that I can easily get a medicinal marijuana card and take it, but I'm afraid that down the road the government is going to say, hey, you have PTS, you have a cannabis card, you're no longer allowed to carry a firearm. So I choose not to do that. But it's being able to deal with, hey, this is who I am now, and I wouldn't change it for the world. How do I get through life with, this is who I am now. It's like it's who we are, period, end of story. It's not going to change but how do I get through life? How do each individual person get through life, whether it be through cannabis or other means or a network of friends? Because we all go through the dumps, we all go through times of depression, but it's really just acknowledging this is who we are, and it shouldn't be chastised or thought negatively upon that, because honestly, we look at things differently. And
and you need to make peace with it, right? That's another thing.
Acceptance,
and I went through the whole. I didn't go through the VA drugging me because I think I've been in the VA once since I retired, because it's a pain in the ass to get an appointment where I'm at, but two, I've been through doctors that try to give me prescription drugs to numb me down, and I don't like being numbed down. It's just really acknowledging this is who I am. How do I manage expectations? How do I manage my emotions or, anxiety or whatever? But I look at more on I don't know how to really explain it, but just not drugging me into a situation where it's going to keep me calm, but being able to manage my expectations as understanding every day without being numbed down by drugs. This is how I need to handle X, Y, and Z, whether it be anxiety. Because like JP, I mean, I have the same deal when it comes to public, when he talks about, hey, if we're around brothers or sisters that, hey, I know he or she's got my back, I don't have to worry about jack and squat. But if I'm in a situation where I don't have that, how do I manage that situation? And what I've talked about with a couple of doctors is that I feel more comfortable downrange in Iraq with 11 other dudes, knowing that we control the environment. And I'm retired. I just me, my wife, and my family or my friends. How do we control the environment? When we're downrange, we get to shoot hoods up. We get to freaking stitch the hood up, or we get to, if it gets too close, we get to stitch the occupant up. And it's we control that environment. Now that I'm a retired civilian, it's how do I control the environment when it's just me or me and the wife or me and a friend. It's really that's where the anxiety comes in. But I don't want to. It's how do we manage that without being I don't know what the term is, but just being hazed out by drugs. So for me, it's looking at that perspective. Is I don't want to change. I have no desire to change because I would do everything I did in the past in a heartbeat. And
Yep.
it has created who I am today. I'm well more aware of my surroundings. I don't want to be numbed down by drugs. And for me, it's just my opinion. It's nothing against anybody else that does cannabis, but I don't want to take that numbness. Again, I'm all for medicinal marijuana if it's done in the right dosage to just take that edge off just a little bit. And
So-
I've tried it because I've worked in the Northwest a handful of times where marijuana is completely legal. I just haven't found. For me, I haven't found that finite point where it just takes the edge off. But I'd rather be who I am today. Go
And
ahead.
there's two forms of that, Mike, to echo what you're saying. So this is a whole other episode that I think we should cover, JP, down the road about the medications and stuff. Is this the cannabis? There's two parts to it. There's the CBD and the THC. The CBD takes away my chronic pain. My chronic pain is what puts me into that massive depression state, and that's because of all my physical. It's the best painkiller without having to use the pharmaceutical grade. THC, that's where you're sitting there and you're like, yeah, right. So that's the different aspect of it. So there's two strains there. So that's a totally different show. But I really think, JP, we should get into that because there's so much misinformation about the cannabis and what it is. And CBD is in so many beverages and stuff now. Like our good friends at Kill Cliff make an amazing one.
You can get those in Canada?
Canada's out here in Colorado. Well,
Oh,
it's
Kill
Colorado out
Cliff?
here.
Yeah,
And Canada
Kill
has
Cliff.
Yeah.
phenomenal
No,
CBD.
we
and
can't
it's
get
literally
Everything's
got
on
me-
Amazon, John.
See, now everybody's chatting about Kill Cliff. I love this. So we all, oh yeah, CBD. So there is different ones you can get right there. Yeah, there's so many different ones, and in Canada we have a bunch of different ones as well. So where I'm going with this is that the cannabis side of it, Mike, the THC, I agree with you. When I'm out and about, I don't want to numb the mind. I just want to feel pain free, which is it's very euphoric in itself because you go from being at a chronic 9, which I am, and then that CBD brings me down to a 5 where I'm functional. Holy, I feel like Superman. I'm not Superman by no means, okay? But it makes me feel like that, right? And then the THC, that totally numbs your mind, and you get into that avoidance state. I find a lot of people doing. So
Hey,
I
John.
hear you on that. And the other thing I want to echo is it came up earlier, and I didn't jump on it. And being an infantry guy, it drives me fucking nuts when people get on a high horse and say, and John said it earlier, not that he meant it, but like other people mean it. Oh, I'm in the infantry, so you're never gonna have the same as me. I was in this shooting, or I was this shooting, but my PTSD is more important than yours. Go fuck your hat, okay? If you have post-traumatic stress, it means that you were in a situation where you had to be stronger than everybody else around you to deal with something that needed to be dealt with, and nobody else was able to deal with it, but you were, and now you have the great reward of carrying that with you further in life. I did this drives me nuts. I did an outreach about post-traumatic stress. I was doing a speaking engagement about it. And this guy comes up to me afterwards and he's like, hey, I really enjoyed what your talk was. I found it very positive and motivating. And I just want to thank you because I know mine is not the same as your guys's. And, I'm a civilian and stuff. And I looked at him dead in his eyes. I said, sir, may I ask what yours is from that you associate it to? And he goes, yeah, well, you guys were overseas and fighting, so mine's not. I said, stop. Just all honesty, just explain to me. Just tell me where you got yours, that you think your post-traumatic stress first kicked in or whatever. And he said, well, I was in this car accident with my friends. We were in a van. It tipped over. I was trapped at the back. We were upside down in the snow for about 12 hours. I watched them all die in turn. I was the only one that lived. And I finally got my seatbelt undone, crawled myself up to the front, threw my friends' dead bodies, and then got to the highway and flagged somebody down. Okay. That story in itself has given me some stress.
Yeah.
Dude, there is nothing. Don't ever take away from the validity of what you just went through. You suffered through something fucking horrific.
Yep.
Do not devalue what you are struggling with. The first part is you have to identify that, okay, this is some serious shit. This happened to me. Don't placate it down. Don't diminish it. Don't try to say, whatever. This happened. That is more than some of these guys have here, but it's not like we're comparing. Like you said, we're not dick measuring. In the States, it's a good 6 inches. In Canada, it's a good 32 centimeters. Okay.
I was going to say, what? 32 inches?
So, and the close
That's
up-
for the
Still on
English
the
people.
measurement?
For the French people, it's 40.
yeah, right? From their belly button down. So
We
so
call
on
it a
that
baguette.
side- and
Hey,
the-
I'll just caveat that this sick sense of humor is because we can get away with it, but we're not diminishing.
So just to close that off, to complete circuit that is I was doing another speaking engagement, and this goes back to Kelly's veteran stuff, is I was talking to a guy, this lady brought me her father who was in Korea. He was a medic. He was a sergeant medic, and he was a sergeant. Okay. So he, I don't suffer from anything. It's all good. It's all good. There's nothing wrong with me. And he started talking to me, and he's like, oh, your generation doesn't understand what we have to suffer through. You guys, they baby you guys and stuff. And I said, well, can I ask you some questions? And I started asking him some questions. He's like, bah, bah, bah. I said, well, sir, I was a sergeant as well. I was a senior NCO. And as soon as I said, hey, I was a sergeant, the lights changed, literally changed in his eyes. And he's like, oh, you were the same as me? And you were in infantry? And you went overseas? His whole demeanor changed. 10 minutes later, we're both crying our eyes out, talking about things. And I can see 40-something years of stress and anguish in this man just dissipate because he finally found somebody to connect to and talk to.
And unfortunately, it was you.
Unfortunately, it was me. But, hey, buddy, I saw a dog.
Hey, Nate,
Squirrel.
hey, Nate, I'm gonna stop your story there real quick. But John, we've been in the podcast for about an hour and a half now, so I just want to make sure we don't bore our listeners too much. But I just want to finish with you. I want to ask you, looking at your bio, looking at your website, and again, for our listeners, we're gonna put all the information about John in our description in the website. That way, you guys can look at it and find his book as well. You guys probably won't see it, but it's right here. Operation Wire Differently, and it's on his website as well. But I would like to ask you something, and so it's a question and also an advice or your opinion, right? Because a lot of people go like, I don't like to give advice. I like to give opinion. So you were going through a lot. You were looking down the road. You're looking at that big ass truck coming at whatever kilometers, 55 miles or 75 miles. But anyways, you're looking at that. How did you get over that? How did you say, you know what, this is what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do better. I can police myself. I gotta figure this out, and I gotta get out of this because I just need to, for me and my family. What did drive you into looking for help, if you did? And if you didn't, what did you do that worked for you that might be able to work for somebody else?
Okay, so one of the first thing is my son was born 2017. I was on domestic calls of 50 years old fucking couple who called the police because his wife put too much salt in his fucking food. Because people call police for fucking stupid things, right? Now, I'm sorry, I have a language barrier, so if I swear, it's your fault. So anyhow, so all of that to say, when I was looking at it, I don't remember the first 2 years of my son. So he's going to be 4 years old this winter, and I just thought of him. How shitty would it be to grow without a dad? And and I'm gonna just link up to a few things. I have dissociation, and I discovered it because of my son. So now, avoidance was before with the alcohol, by all means. Now avoidance is created on my own body. You say fuck you, and I shut down. So I think a couple of months within the time that was off, I started to be off, is I'm babysitting my own child, right? Duty daddy, whatever you call that. And there's those safe gate, right? So he doesn't go upstairs, and he shakes them like a nice little kid, and it falls on him. Now, I assume that he was shaking them because I don't remember shit until he was screaming because the gate was on him, right? So that's how my dissociation happened. So I was looking at the van. I was looking at the Trans-Canadian, and I'm like, what would happen if he has no dad? What would happen, right? Like, how we would be even more messed up. Because in my head, I got all those statistics, right? Like, well, okay, I have PTS, therefore he has 75% more chance of getting anxiety disorder. Now that's my fault, right? So I had all those negative thoughts roaming around, and it came down to, but will he be better down the road without his father? And that's what I turned around. Now, obviously, I I told my team of, because I have psychologists, psychiatrists, I have an occupational therapist, I have my both parents who are fucking psychologists. I mean, I got the team around, and obviously, I said to them, and they kind of freaked out and whatnot, and put me on a new medication, and that's when I kind of pulled the hair out of my wife and so on. But I started to put the picture in my car of my wife and my kid. And that's what I have now when I drive, right? Because I don't know for you, but I find that people drive like dicks. They don't know how to drive. They get that road rage. And the funny part is I don't know why grandma of 75 years old get road rage, and it can be anyone, but you don't know who's in the other car. You don't know how they can react and lose their mind as well as you do, right? And I had one instance in my vehicle where there's a kid, and I call it Mercedes boy. He's in the book. It's the only one that I freaked out. The kid doubled me because we were driving. I was following a car, and he was driving 45 kilometers an hour. Nate, you can translate that in miles if you want. And I didn't let him fucking pass me. I actually pushed it so he was in the ditch. And now the idiot kid went back home, and I followed him back home. Because if someone follow you, you don't go home because he knows where you live. Now, that's just me. But I didn't want to have either the suicidal thought coming back, or not the anger, but the rage as well coming back. Because we all know that we can all get angry, right? But and I don't know for you, but the rage aspect is a quite comfortable zone because you have no feeling in rage. You have control of everything you've learned in training. You have your surrounding is you're noting in the description of everything. I still have it like it's black and white. You have no gray zone anymore, right? So you don't want that rage, but you don't want that suicidal aspect either. So having my kid that reminds me, and beside my speeding, that he's there, he's the reason why I still do it. I still get up every day, was enough for me. Yeah, so family for me, I mean, because they've been there. And I mean, my wife is a reason as well. And I told my wife multiple times, divorce me. It will be probably healthier for you right now to go away, and you'll be more happy. And what she had answered to me is, you're right, probably happier right now. But down the road, when you get better, then I will miss out on something, right? Because I think as much as we suffer as service people, the people who surround us suffer as well, right? And those spouse who stayed at home while you were deployed, they suffer as well. They had to wear 2 hats. They had to do all the fucking chores. They have to do everything. Because I don't know for you, but when was deployed, I didn't care for the bills. I didn't have to care for putting the garbage fucking out. I didn't have any problem with that. It was done. So the stress that I had was staying safe in Iraq and doing the errands and whatnot. But that was it. So remember who has been there as well to cheer you up, right? Your family, your group, or whatever you want to call it, friends. They are a good reason to keep pushing. because they've been cheering for you the entire time.
That's pretty powerful, and I think that's one of the things that throughout all the episodes in this podcast we have gone back to is family. uh I think, Nate, you brought it up a few times when you talk about, when you were really depressed, you kept thinking about your kids. When I was depressed, I was thinking about my kids. Mike did the same, kids and wife, everybody was thinking about the same, and I think that's what it's going to drive you not to do stupid stuff, right? Uh, because we probably been close to it a few times, right? Doing stupid stuff like, I wonder what happens if I just keep driving down that cliff,
People are
Huh.
depending on you.
Yeah. So
You
You know what my biggest thing was is I didn't want my dad to bury another baby. I
there
don't
you
have
go.
kids. I don't have anybody. I was just like me, whatever. But when I went down my shitty thing, so I was like, let me see how drunk I can get and how fast I can fucking drive. I was fucking on it. I was done.
Yeah.
And I made it by the grace of God. God has a bigger plan for me than being a dipshit in the bar ditch. But that next morning I woke up and I was like, how selfish am I that I would make my dad bury another baby? He's already done it once with a brother that's way cooler than me. How the fuck am I going to do that to him again? That was a huge motivation to get my head out of my ass.
Yep. And so for everybody listening out there, find what it is that motivates you. Find what it is that keeps you going, that keeps fueling that energy and your life, and just hold on to that, because that's really what's going to help you move forward. And once again, Operation Wired Differently is John's book, and we're going to put the description on the podcast, and we're going to put it also on our social media platforms, so you guys can go buy the book. And he got great experiences there to share with you guys. And hey, Nate, you got anything else you want to say before we head out?
Yeah, I just want to echo what you said and what John said and what Callie said and what Mike said. Is
All you've been doing is echoing, bro. Well, you don't just say something. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
okay. Just remember
Okay,
this one
flavor.
thing: no matter what path you walk down, it's your own asphalt.
Are we supposed to laugh now?
Hey, JP, do that clapping thing on the.
Right? So no matter what goes on, you're responsible to yourself and those around you. And there's somebody somewhere counting on you. So you
100%.
need to find a way to keep fucking moving forward.
Hell yeah. Mike, what you got?
Man, I'm gonna jump on Nate's bandwagon. I'm not gonna echo what he said, but I'm gonna add on. What are you gonna say, Nate? Yeah. No matter what, it's not worth it. Plain and simple. Taking your own life, thinking about suicide or anything like that. You think that, like what John's putting out, you think differently. Period. It's acceptable. Accept it. It's not worth taking your own life or taking yourself out of this world, because people are expecting you to be around. So always reach out.
Yep.
So that's all I got.
Calico, what you got? Hey, you're part of the hosting team tonight.
Oh shit. Well, to echo the hosting team, don't you know? I just wanted to say that the whole time. Just don't you know? I don't know. I feel like anyway. So my stepdad, he just got here again, 39-year cop. He always says suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And I think all of us, we're all alpha fucking hard-headed bastards, right? All of us, excuse you, not you. All of us want to go, we all want to walk our, trust me, I've got 2 canines and a jerk. He's just an asshole. But all of us want to go down this road alone, because we're like, no, I got this. I got this. And when we do get that different perspective of that depression mind state, it's just that whole, I got told by it was a Dev Group SEAL, and he goes, hey kid, he's like, anytime you get in that hole, just have the courage to look up. There's always a warrior reaching out their hand. And that meant the world to me. So it's just one, just make it to the next sunrise. Just one more sunrise. It's always one more sunrise.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Calico. John, take us out. What do you want to say?
So I want to echo each one of you guys. I just wanted to say thank you, and that's all. to be honest. It's a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to March. And I'm hoping to just have a blast for 10 days.
Hey, John, thank you for taking the time, and sorry for you were having all those connectivity issues, and then Nate as well. The Canadians, I'm telling you, Canadian
Go
internet
to
is just
Mexico.
horrible.
You can get here no problem.
Yeah. So we just want to say thank you to everyone that listened to us. Thank you to John for taking the time to being in the podcast, and just whatever you do, guys, welcome. Once again, season 2. We're here, season 2, episode 18 of VTSR, and whatever you do, do not cash out.